An explosion hit the center of the eastern Afghan city of Jalalabad on Sunday, killing at least 19 people and wounding 20. The blast, which occurred hours after President Ashraf Ghani had opened a hospital in Jalalabad, damaged shops and buildings around Mukharabit Square in the city. Majority of the dead belong to the minority Sikh community. Terror group Islamic State has claimed responsibility for the attack. Hundreds of Rohingya refugees were relocated to an extension of a camp in Bangladesh, Cox's Bazar, as the impending monsoon rains brought fears of landslides in the area. The United Nations Refugee Agency has said 263 refugees were moved to a more secure planned site at the Kutupalong camp. More than 700,000 Rohingya Muslims have fled from Myanmar after a military operation against Rohingya insurgents in August last year. More than 5,000 Rohingya refugees are living in abysmal conditions in a so-called no-man's land near the border between Myanmar and Bangladesh, lacking basic living facilities while facing threats of natural hazards. More than 1,200 families live under the shadow of death on a thin strip of land between Bangladesh and Myanmar. Rohingya refugees say they live in fear every day, as the security forces have been asking them to vacate the land. The president of the International Committee of the Red Cross, Peter Maurer, has visited the Rohingya refugee camps in Bangladesh just a few days after seeing the ruined villages in neighboring Rakhine state. Maurer said from what he had witnessed, it is a lose-lose situation on both sides of the border. He also said the humanitarian crisis is from the medium and long term. German Chancellor Angela Merkel's Christian Democrats have supported the Europe migrant deal negotiated at the EU summit in Brussels. Meanwhile, Merkel's Bavarian allies, the Christian Social Union, met on Sunday evening to discuss whether to accept the deals achieved at the European Union summit last week. The migrant deal has heightened uncertainty over the future of Merkel's government coalition. A zoo in the Russian city of Barnaul added 6 rare Siberian tiger cubs to its collection. Siberian tiger cubs, also known as Amur tigers, are the world's northernmost tiger species. In the beginning of the 20th century, the population of the Siberian tigers was declining, with just dozens of animals inhabiting the Russian Far East. By 2015, the population increased to about 500, but scientists still consider the species endangered. More Chinese rescuers have joined the search and rescue mission for the missing teenage football team in Thailand and plan to provide underwater robots for following operations. As rescue work proceeds into the 9th day today, there has been no trace of the 12 young footballers and their coach. Rescue teams have been pumping water out of the 10-kilometer cave. Rescuers have been dispatched into shafts to search for the missing group. They have also dropped food, water and cell phones into the cave. Pope Francis said he is praying for young members of a sports team missing in Thailand. Came during his weekly address to the faithful gathered in St. Peter's Square. 9 days into the search, there has been no contact with the boys and their 25-year-old coach since they went off after soccer practice to explore the vast Tham Luang cave complex in northern province of Chiang Rai.
Da oltre una settimana in una grotta sotterranea in Thailandia.
Harley-Davidson on the new assembly plant set to open in the country. A Harley-Davidson factory in Thailand set to open later this year will help motorcycle makers avoid the country's up to 60% tariffs on imported motorcycles. The move will also help Harley to get tax breaks while exporting to neighboring countries. US President Donald Trump has criticized famous American brand for moving production overseas. An attack on the military patrol in northern Mali killed 2 civilians and wounded up to 8 French soldiers. The attack comes 2 days after Islamist militants killed at least 6 people during a raid on a military headquarters in central Mali. French troops are helping combat terrorists across vast desert reaches in Mali. About a dozen people were also wounded in the attack. Massive celebrations erupted in central Moscow after Russia sent Spain home by winning 4-3 on penalties on Sunday. People draped in white, blue and red Russian flags cheered inside a packed metro station. Outside, there were more celebrations as foreigners joined Russian fans in a massive street party. The party spread to nearby historic Red Square, where more fans gathered to party into the night. Jordan has launched a nationwide campaign to collect and distribute relief supplies for civilians stranded at Syrian-Jordanian border due to Syrian army's offensive. The Jordanian army delivered humanitarian aid to thousands of displaced Syrians who took shelter near its border. Several thousand Syrians gathered near a closed border crossing on Saturday, pleading to enter Jordan, which closed its borders. The fighting has uprooted tens of thousands of people. Israel has beefed up its tank and artillery deployment on the Golan Heights frontier with Syria, warning Damascus forces to keep a distance as they sweep rebel-held areas over the border. Syrian President Bashar al-Assad launched an offensive last month to regain the southwestern Dhaka region, driving thousands of refugees towards neighboring Jordan and Israel. Israel seized much of the Golan from Syria in the 1967 war and annexed the strategic plateau, a move not recognized by the international community. Bangladeshis and embassies representing bought flower wreaths to mourn those killed in a deadly attack on a cafe in Dhaka 2 years ago. The July 1st attack in Dhaka's diplomatic quarter was claimed by the Islamic State and was the worst terrorist attack in Bangladesh. 7 gunmen stormed a cafe in an upmarket neighborhood in Bangladesh's capital, killing 22 people, including 9 Italians, 7 Japanese, an American and an Indian. France paid homage to Simone Veil, a Holocaust survivor best known for legalizing abortion in the 1970s as she joined the country's great citizens interred in the Pantheon in Paris. Veil, who died on June 30th a year ago, was laid to rest with her husband in the crypt of the Pantheon Mausoleum, alongside other national icons including authors Émile Zola and Victor Hugo and philosopher Voltaire. Cambodia now holds the Guinness World Records title to having weaved the world's longest scarf. Thousands of volunteers and also expert weavers started making the long garment since it was launched on February 14th. The scarf will be kept at a special place for Cambodians as well as tourists to view, but the location is not announced yet. Pakistan Army has said its teams have rescued 2 British mountaineers stranded on Ultar Sar mountain after their tent was hit by an avalanche. A third volunteer from Australia has died. Pope Francis has renewed his appeal for an end to violence in Nicaragua. During his weekly prayer, the Pope said he continued to pray for the people of Nicaragua and others for their mediation role in the process of national dialogue. Protesters have said that they were fired upon by snipers using assault rifles by security forces. More than 2 months of demonstrations against the government have killed around 285 people. A section of a community road in southwest China's Sichuan province collapsed, plunging retaining walls to the ground. No casualties were reported in the incident. Surveillance video shows that the road collapsed early in the morning. An eyewitness said that at least a 50-meter-long section of the road caved in. Hong Kong's annual pro-democracy protest saw one of the lowest turnouts in history as thousands braved sweltering heat to protest against Beijing's tightening grip over the city. Hong Kong is observing the 21st anniversary of its return to Chinese rule. Hundreds of police were deployed as some demonstrators marched with yellow umbrellas, a symbol of democratic activism in the city. The protesters included elderly people in wheelchairs, couples with sleeping toddlers and younger residents. Smoke rose from burning moorland as firefighters continued to battle a fire outside the northern English city of Manchester after it was declared a major incident by authorities. Hot weather and wind over the last week have sparked fires in parts of the northern English countryside, unprecedented in recent times in an area better known for its rainy weather. Greater Manchester Fire and Rescue Service said that it had around 120 personnel battling wildfires in 7 areas. There have been no reports of casualties so far. "48 people were killed when an overcrowded bus spun off a slippery road and fell into a deep ravine in the northern Indian state of Uttarakhand on Sunday. 45 people were killed instantly and 3 others died after being taken to the nearest primary healthcare facility in Ramnagar. 12 others were being treated for injuries. The 28-seater bus was carrying 59 passengers. A cattle rehabilitation center in Rajasthan has decided to initiate a unique cow and bull safari in the city with an aim to educate people about the bovines and their different breeds. Located in the city of Jaipur, the Hingonia Cow Rehabilitation Center was planned to accommodate 22,000 cows and bulls of mostly indigenous breeds. The safari is all set to begin in August this year. Visitors will get a guided tour to learn about the aboriginal breeds of cows, feed them, clean them, and even milk the cattle. Hundreds of members belonging to sexual minorities and those fighting for their rights have conducted a pride march in Gujarat in Vadodara city. The march, named Vadodara Pride Rally, thronged the streets and roads carrying placards, banners and rainbow flags, raising slogans and dancing to the beats of drums to celebrate the occasion. A member of the community who attended the march said the Pride March is a way to sensitize the society into accepting the sexual minorities. Water levels in Jhelum River in Kashmir remain above danger level, keeping the administration on the edge. However, India's Junior Minister Jitendra Singh said that everything is under control and the Amarnath cave pilgrimage will continue comfortably. The administration has taken preemptive measures to prevent a repeat of 2014 floods catastrophe, which left several dead and destroyed properties worth billions. In the past few days, many parts of the Kashmir have received heavy rainfall, paralyzing normal life. Traders across different cities in the country have mixed feelings on first anniversary of the implementation of goods and services tax. Members of the textile industry in the country claims that it has been a challenging year for them, and tax introduction on textiles, unlike earlier, have affected the industry badly. Many have lost employment and the industry has nearly halved its production. Eleven members of a family were found dead in New Delhi on Sunday, most of them hanging from the ceiling of their home, blindfolded and hands tied behind the back. The victims included 4 men and 7 women, including teenagers. While all the bodies were blindfolded, one of the bodies was found lying on the floor and the others hanging from a railing attached to the ceiling. One of the neighbors had spotted the hanging bodies early in the morning and reported it to the police. Canadian rapper who goes by stage name Smoke Dogg was shot dead Saturday after a shooting outside Cube nightclub in Toronto. 2 others were also injured in the incident. Suspects are believed to have fled in either a black SUV or a white car. Priyanka Chopra's Nalini, a production based on Rabindranath Tagore's love story has been barred from shooting on the campus of Visva University. Director Ujjwal Chatterjee claims the former Vice-Chancellor gave them the permission to shoot. Hollywood celebrities join nationwide Families Belong Together rallies to protest the zero-tolerance immigration policy from U.S. President Donald Trump's administration.
We are here to demand that our government reunite migrant children with their families right now.
Bollywood actor Irfan Khan's battle with cancer continues. He says, "I am not in a hurry to know how it's going to unfold." The actor is currently undergoing treatment for a neuroendocrine tumor in the United Kingdom. The 2018 FIFA World Cup has continued to throw up a string of surprises as 2010 champion Spain bowed out in the round of 16 after a penalty shootout against Russia. Sergei Ignashievich's own goal and Artem Zuba's 41st minute penalty meant both sides were tied at 1-1 at the end of the 90 minutes, as well as extra time. Russian custodian Igor Akinfeev saved spot kicks from Koke and Iago Aspas to send the hosts through to the last 8, 4-3 after the shootout. And soon after that, Spain's midfield stalwart Andres Iniesta announced his retirement from international football. The former Barcelona midfielder, now 34, was one of the main members of Spain's golden generation that won the World Cup in 2010, sandwiched between 2 European championships in 2008 and 2012. Iniesta came on as a substitute in the round of 16 clash against Russia and netted in the shootout but couldn't save his side from exiting the competition. And in the other round of 16 match on Sunday night, dark horses Croatia came through unscathed from their round of 16 tie after a penalty shootout against Denmark. Both sides netted once in the opening 4 minutes and were tied at 1-1 until the end of extra time. Croatia had a chance to nick the winner towards the end of extra time, but Luka Modric's penalty was saved by Kasper Schmeichel to take the game to a shootout. And Denmark saw 3 of their 5 penalties saved. Ivan Rakitic netted the winning spot kick, sending Croatia through to the last 8 for the first time since 1998. Two more quarter-final berths will be occupied on Monday. 5-time champions Brazil take on Mexico in the round of 16 clash at Samara. Brazil have steadily found their rhythm as the tournament progressed and came through to the group stages unbeaten while amassing 7 points. Selicao have reached the quarter-finals of the competition. in each of the previous 6 editions. Mexico, on the other hand, have never progressed beyond the last 16 stage of the competition. Meanwhile, 2-time Wimbledon champion Andy Murray announced his decision to pull out of the tournament. The 31-year-old, in a statement released on Sunday, stated that it was too soon to play 5-set matches as he continues his comeback from a hip surgery. Murray marked his return to action at the Queen's last month and also featured at Eastbourne. In late night action, World Cup dark horses Belgium take on Japan in their round of 16 clash at Rostov-on-Don. Belgium were among the 3 teams to come through the group stage with a 100% record. The Red Devils are among the favourites to make the final but face a resilient side in Japan. The Asian Giants progressed ahead of Senegal by virtue of better disciplinary record. Japan are aiming to reach the quarter-final for the first time in the history of the World Cup. Over in tennis, the Wimbledon Championships, the year's 3rd Grand Slam, commences today. The tournament is considered the prestigious of all Grand Slam events. Roger Federer is the defending champion in the men's section, while Garbiñe Muguruza is the holder in women's singles. Twenty-time Grand Slam champion Roger Federer begins his title defense at the Wimbledon champion against Dusan Lajovic. A Swiss maestro is seeking a record extending 9 title here at the All England Club. Federer's only meeting against Lajovic took place at the same event last year, which the world number 2 won in straight sets. The Indian cricket team sweated out in the nets ahead of the 2020 series, which will begin on Tuesday at the Old Trafford Cricket Ground in Greater Manchester. The Indian cricket team are set to face the English side for a 3-match T20 series, followed by a 3-match one-day international and 5 test match series.